province of Gujarat in India. And it's about a little boy. Once upon a time, there was a little boy whose name was Gopal. And Gopal lived with his mother in a little town in the province of Gujarat in India. And they were very poor. They lived in a little hut. And Gopal had to help his mother with all the chores because they lived alone. And he was a good boy, and he helped her every day. Now one time, he had seen at a festival a drum. And ever since that time, Gopal had really, really wanted a drum. What did he want?
A drum.
That's right. But they were very poor, and he didn't have a drum. Every day he did his chores. He would take the dung, which is poop, you know, and make it into patties and put it in the sun to dry so his mother could use that for her cooking fire. And he would sweep the floor and he would melt the water buffalo. And when his chores were done, he would sit beside his mother while she did her work. And he would turn a little tin pot upside down and pretend that he had a drum. And while he pretended, he would sing this song. If I had a drum, a big brass drum, my heart would go boom, boom, boom. Tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom, boom. Say the verse with me. If I had a drum, a big brass drum, my heart would go boom, boom, boom. Tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom, doom, doom, doom. If I had a drum, a big brass drum, my heart would go boom, boom, boom. You have to be louder, my drums You can do it. If I had a drum, a big brass drum, my heart would go boom, boom, boom. Tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom, doom, doom, doom. Well, one day, Gopal's mother looked pretty happy, and he thought, today is the day that I'm going to ask Mama to give me a drum. So he went to his mother and he said, Ma, can I have a drum? A drum, said his mother. What would you do with a drum? A drum cannot fill your belly. We need our money to buy food to eat. Gopal bit on his lip. He looked so sad. He couldn't tell his mother how his fingers itched to touch the drum, or how his heart ached to hear its sound. His mother saw how sad he was, and she said, never mind, I have some extra flour today from my work, and I will make you some pakoras. So she took the flour and she mixed it with potatoes and onions and spices, and she made some tasty pakoras. And while she was cooking them, Gopal had an idea. He said, I will take these pakoras to the market, and I will sell them, and I will begin to save money to buy a drum. So when the pakoras were ready, Gopal wrapped them in a cloth, and he set out for the market. And as he went along, he sang, if I had a drum, a big brass drum, my heart would go boom, boom, boom. Tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom, doom, doom, doom. Well, he hadn't gone far when he saw a lady carrying a baby on her back, and the little boy was crying. And Gopal felt sorry for him. He said to him, are you hungry, little boy? And the little boy nodded. Well then, he said, take one of my pakoras. The little boy took the pakora and started to eat it and was very glad to have it. And the woman said to him, you are a kind boy, and I cannot give you money, but I will give you one of my pots, for I sell them to make a living. And she gave Gopal one of her pots. And Gopal didn't want a pot, he wanted a drum. But he thanked the lady, and he went on, and as he went, he sang, if I had a drum, a big brass drum, my heart would go boom, boom, boom. Tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom, doom, doom, doom. Well, a little way down the road, it got pretty hot, because you know in India it's really hot, and Gopal was very thirsty. He thought, I'm really glad to have this pot now, because I can go to the river
sorry for the woman. He said, "Here, you can have this pot." And he gave her the pot. "You are kind," said the woman. "I cannot pay you with money, but here is a shawl that I have made." And she gave him a beautiful Indian shawl with beads embroidered on it that she had made. Gopal didn't want a shawl, he wanted a drum. But he took the shawl and he thanked the woman, and he went on down the road singing.
I had a drum, a big brass drum. My heart would go boom, boom, boom. Tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom.
Well, as he walked along, getting closer to the market, a man on a white horse rode up to him and said, "Little boy, where did you get that shawl? My wife is very sick, and it's just the kind of shawl she wants to make her feel better. I have bought her many shawls, but none of them are like that one, and that's the kind she wants." "Well," said Gopal, "if your wife is sick and it would make her feel better, you can have the shawl." "Well," said the man, "you are kind. I will give you my horse in trade for the shawl." So Gopal got a horse, and he jumped on the horse, and he went down the road to the market, singing.
I had a drum, a big brass drum. My heart would go boom, boom, boom. Tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom.
Well, he was almost at the market when he came across a big crowd of people. It was a wedding, and Gopal wanted to see the bride. So he strained his eyes to look under the canopy, and there she sat, all beautifully dressed in a red sari with jewelry and beautiful earrings. She looked very beautiful. But all of a sudden, a priest came up and said, "The groom has been delayed, and we will have to postpone the wedding because the stars are not in the proper alignment." Gopal said, No, I have a horse. I will go and get the groom." So he found out where the groom was, and he was back in a flash with the groom. And the bride was so grateful, she said, "You can have whatever you want." Well, Gopal saw the drums waiting there for all the storytellers and dancers, and he said, "Can I have a drum?" "Yes," she said, "take whatever one you want." And Gopal saw big drums and little drums and soft drums and hard drums, and he chose a big brass drum that was painted the color of the sky. And he took his drum and he got on his horse and he sang, "I have a drum,
A big brass drum. My heart goes boom, boom, boom. Tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom.
But he came to the market, and he sat down, and he started to call out, "Pakoras for sale, pakoras for sale." But everybody was so busy, no one paid a little boy any attention. He was selling pakoras. So then he started to play his drum. And as he played, everyone started to gather around to hear the little boy with the drum. And as they gathered, he sold all his pakoras. And now he had a drum, and he had a horse, and he had a pocket full of money to give to his mother. And he set off for home. And as he went, he sang his song.
I have a drum, a big brass drum. My heart goes boom, boom, boom. Tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom, tuck-a-doom.
And that's how it happened long ago in India, in the province of Gujarat.